Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today, since it is super cold outside, feels so much like fall, I decided to do a little mug cozy. This is a super simple single crochet pattern, and you can make it to fit a mug without a handle, or like I have done, you can make it and just attach a little button. It works up really quickly. In this one I changed color every 2 rows, but for the tutorial I am going to use a variegated yarn. I recommend, if you're going to make these as gifts, which is perfect, to use a cotton yarn, just so if it comes into contact with anything super hot, it will be able to stand up to the heat better. However, I usually just make mine in acrylic yarn and make sure that I don't have anything super hot when I'm using them, although I've never actually had a problem with my acrylic yarns melting. So again, this is a super simple project. It just takes a couple of minutes to do. If you're changing colors, it's relatively easy. And I will show you how to do that, but for mine, like I said, I'm just going to use a variegated yarn and see how that comes out. You will also need a button if you are going to make one like I did here. I used a 4.5mm crochet hook. You'll also need needles to weave in your ends and, of course, scissors. So to start, grab the mug that you are going to use, and you're going to want to chain in multiples of 2, but you're going to want to make sure that if you have a handle like mine does, that you don't over crochet your starting chain, because then obviously it won't fit. So chain a few in multiples of 2 and then double check to make sure that that will fit through your handle. So put a slip knot on your hook and chain a multiple of 2. I chained 12, which is what I did for this one as well, and put a single crochet in the 4th chain from hook. So just a single crochet into that 4th chain. Chain 1, skip the next, and a single crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, and a single crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into the next, and that happens to be my last one. So there's my first row. You're going to chain 2, turn your work, and you're going to go into the spaces in between those single crochets. So you can kind of see I'm popping up those single crochets, and there's a space in between. It's your chain 1 space. You want to put a single crochet into that space. Chain 1 and a single crochet into the next space. Chain 1, find your next space, single crochet, chain 1, find your next space, and you're going to do this all the way down until you get to the end. Chain 1 between each. When you get to that last stitch, work into the top of it instead of in that space. So on the ends you're going to want to work into an actual stitch. And because they're single crochet, sometimes it can be hard to find a spot. But just work a single crochet into the actual stitch instead of the space on the end. Now if you wanted to change colors, you would do that here, however you like to change colors, or if you're going to make thicker stripes, then keep going with the same color. Completely up to you. For this one, I did 2 rows of each color and then switch to the next color. But every row starts the same. You're going to chain 2, turn, and go into the space. Do a single crochet in each space, chain 1, and you will jump over to the next space. Do a single crochet, chain 1, find that next space, do a single crochet, chain 1, find that next space, go right into it, do a single crochet, chain 1. When you get to the end, don't go in that space, find a stitch on the end to work into and do a single crochet. And that's it. To start the next row, chain 2, find your chain 1 space and do a single crochet into it. Chain 1, find that space, single crochet into it, chain 1, find the space, single crochet into it, all the way down. When you get to the end, don't crochet into the space, find a stitch and do a single crochet into it. And this is the pattern all the way. I suggest every once in a while putting your work, holding it up, make sure it fits in there if you have the handles, and then as you get further along, just put it around so you can measure to see how many more rows you need to do. You want it to be fairly tight, especially if you're putting a button on, or if you're not, you need it to be tight so it doesn't slide up and down. So you do need it to be fairly tight. You want to pull the ends together so they fit snugly around your mug. So work away at that and I will meet up with you. Alright, so I've done a few rows here. I'm going to test it around my cup, and it is pretty close. I'm going to do one more row and then put on the strap at the end for my button. Alright, so I've done an extra row. I am going to chain 1, turn, and slip stitch into the first few stitches. So probably the first 3 stitches here. You want to be somewhere in the middle if you're going to put the little button hook on. Once you get towards the middle, I'm going to chain 5. I'm going to skip some of these stitches, and I want to work the last 3 on this side. So I'm just going to slip stitch into those last 3 stitches. And at that point, you can fasten off. And pull your yarn through, and then you've got a little strap for your button. So take a moment and weave in your ends. If you've changed colors, you will have many, many more ends to weave in than I do. Alright, so once you've taken care of your ends, and you have your little, if you're doing a button, you have your strap for your button. Now depending on the size of your button, you may need to make this chain a little bit longer or a little bit shorter depending on the size of your button. Decide which side you want for the front, which side you want for the back, you're going to place your button right in the center of those first 2 rows. Grab your needle. Make sure your needle can fit through the buttonholes. Now you can use any yarn. I am just going to use some of the variegated yarn that I've been using. Thread your needle. Once you have your needle threaded, place your button, and you're going to come in from the back. So you've got to kind of find where those holes are. There we go. And you're going to come up from the back and go diagonally to the next one. Pull that through. So you have something like that. Come up through that one. Pull that through and go down that one. So you're basically making an X like that. Now I like to do it more than once. So do the whole thing again, make another X. Once you're done and it's secure, go ahead and weave in all of your ends here. I like to weave them in and then tie a knot to secure it. And I'll just weave in a little bit more. Go ahead, cut those little ends off. I just love that pattern with the variegated yarn. So you can see the difference. Changing colors and using a variegated yarn. Equally really cool. And there we go. We have a nice little mug cozy with a button. Here's the variegated. That's how this turned out, and it goes up and down, but it's pretty snug. Here is the one I did changing color. You can see I did my little chain right there for the button. I attached the button on the other side. Pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed this quick little video on how to make a single crochet mug cozy. Please leave a like and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy crocheting. Bye.